And so Fox had acquired, the rights to do the show in the US. And I heard about the audition through a friend, and she said, hey, there's this show. I guess you could win a record deal. Paula Abdul's a judge. And I was like, sold. I was like, okay, I'm just going to go to
right.
Paula, basically.
Welcome to the season 2 finale of the Skittle Squad Podcast. My name is David Smith, and I'm here with my fabulous co-host.
I'm Paul Pfeiffer.
Hey, Paul, how are you?
Hey, I'm fine. How are you?
Congratulations, season 2
know.
finale.
Can you believe it?
I can actually say no.
Like, did you think when we started the show that we would, it would take off like it has?
I mean, it has really taken off.
I know.
It's been unbelievable.
I know.
Community is absolutely just loving the show. Yeah, it's been great. It's been great.
It's been a lot of fun.
So excited for our season finale guests today. We'll be talking with in just a few minutes, so stay tuned. Jim Verraros from American Idol 2002, the first season.
I'm so excited.
He is wonderful. Yeah, and he released a new EP.
Yeah.
And so, we'll be chatting with him in a little bit. So definitely stay tuned for that.
Huge guest. Huge.
Yes. So excited to talk with him. It'll be a first remote.
Yes.
Yeah, because he's based in Chicago.
Yeah. So we've never done a remote before. So that'll be interesting to see what that dynamic is like.
Yeah. And so really, if you're interested in being in the show, we can definitely dial you in from anywhere. So definitely reach out to us at contact@theskittlesquad.com and we'd be happy to chat with you to see if we can get you on the show.
Absolutely.
I love doing this because this is kind of like the look back on the season. Our look back and talking about all the awesome guests that we've had.
Yeah.
We had 10 guests for this season.
Yes.
Who comes to mind off the top of your head maybe as one of your favorite conversations?
Gosh, I hate to say that.
They were all our
favorites.
love
them all.
They were all amazing.
But I have to give props to Dee from Family.
Rose.
I love her.
Dee Rose from Family.
And it was such a fun interview with her.
Yes.
And then I think right behind her is Scott
Simon.
Yeah, because not only is he like the Mr. Rogers, guy.
He's the Mr. Rogers.
But he's cute as hell. Very easy on the eyes. And he was very personal in his interview.
Very vulnerable.
Very vulnerable.
Opened up, yeah.
And got a lot of great feedback on his episodes. So, he was definitely great to talk to. And the most friendliest guy
He
ever.
is. He's a really friendly guy, really smart. If you haven't seen any of those episodes, definitely find them on our platforms on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, and Apple Podcasts. Definitely go back and check them out. We do have a lot of amazing guests for this season. We also had Seduction Dickerson.
I know.
Miss St. Pete Pride 2025. Yes.
With that gorgeous crown that I want to snatch off her head.
Yes, I know. She had an amazing crown that she wore.
It was incredible.
Yeah, there's something about her demeanor that's just so relaxing.
Yeah. She's got really good energy.
And you saw her perform.
I did see her perform, and she is off the chain. Definitely, if you get a chance to see Seduction in a show, definitely go see her because she puts on a fantastic show every time you see her. I mean, we have some talented, really, really talented people.
Yes.
In the Tampa Bay area.
It's really extraordinary.
Really extraordinary, the amount of talent that we have here.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, for sure.
We also had a local celebrity on Jason Fields. Oh,
I've known Jason for a while.
Yeah. It's funny because I live in the same neighborhood as he does.
Uh-huh.
And so I'll just be driving around. I'll be like, hey, Jason, how are you? So I seem to run into him.
He's everywhere.
A couple times a week.
Yeah.
Lately.
He is everywhere. And I don't know where he gets the energy.
Yeah.
Wherever he gets the energy, he needs to bottle that up and sell it.
Well, he's in Puerto Vallarta now.
I know.
Yeah,
No,
he does
like,
not stop.
He does not stop
No,
at
he
all.
is. Yeah, he's on the move. He said they were doing a friend's 60th birthday this weekend.
I'm like, bitch, do you ever get tired? Like, I'm like, seriously.
yeah. I've run into him at 6 a.m. I've run into him at midnight. Yeah, he is like just all over the place. Yeah, very
that's
energized.
crazy.
Really, really great community organizer.
I wish I had the energy that he has, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. We also had Brianna Summers on.
Love Brianna.
And she announced that she's retiring.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
sad.
that
Super
was sad. Yeah.
But I love Brianna. I will always be a fan of Brianna's.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's gorgeous. She's talented. She'll kill whatever she decides to do in her life.
I was, it's funny because I had known her pretty well for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of felt like maybe after our interview with her, she's making the right decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, you're in the limelight and she's been in the limelight for so long.
10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need to step back
Mm-hmm.
and maybe just do a little bit of a regroup.
And take care of yourself. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so-
And her interview was also very
It
raw
was.
and vulnerable as well.
She did
So
share a lot.
one of the things that I think has been really good about this season is we've gotten people to really open up
Mm-hmm.
and be personal and vulnerable. At times where we didn't expect it. Like,
Yes, that's true.
Like it's like,
right.
wow, did they just share that?
Yeah, like
So-
D Rose, she came out as bisexual on the show.
Absolutely.
And that was her first time really acknowledging that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So I think that just shows the growth that we've had
Mm-hmm.
on the show. I keep going back to the very first episode where we were like horrible on the
We didn't know
first
what we were
episode.
doing.
We didn't know what we
I mean,
were
it was
doing.
brand new.
Right. And now
Mhm.
where I feel like we've become like pros at, interviewing people, making them feel comfortable because
Right.
they're not going to share personal information if they don't feel comfortable with
That's true.
with the people that they're talking to.
Yeah.
So I think we've really developed the gift of making people feel comfortable
Mm-hmm.
and them having the will to share some pretty personal and deep stuff with us.
Yeah, they really
Yeah.
have. You kind of remind me of Gail King, and I.
I'm the
what I mean?
Oprah. You're the Gail.
Oh, sorry,
Let's
my
get that.
confusion.
Don't get it twisted.
Okay, so I'm Oprah. I'm Oprah, and you're Gail. Gotcha.
I'm
Okay.
Oprah. You're Gail.
Okay, I got confused a second. I know you're Gail and I'm Oprah. Okay, anywho, but no, it's been fun. It's been fun really getting
No, it
to know
has.
folks.
It has been a lot of fun. We've had, we also had Alice Marie Grip on.
Yes.
Who, I did not really know Alice all that well
Mhm.
until she came on the show. I saw her perform one time, and she was incredible.
Yes.
Again, just an incredible
Absolutely
talent.
incredible talent.
And she was so great on the show, talking
Mhm.
about advocacy and everything that she does, and she's another one that's out there like everywhere.
She is.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's hard to
she
keep up with
works
everybody, but
her
she is
butt
busy.
off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, and then we
Um,
had Brian
Brian
Longstreth.
from right
Yeah, from
Casa del Merman.
Casa del Merman. I can never
Yeah.
say that. And then he also talked about his resort in Ecuador as well.
It was so interesting
Yeah,
learning about
yeah.
his resort.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Because you
yeah.
don't really know. It's nice to get a view of somebody's opinion. Because I walked into that interview thinking, Rick was like, "Oh, I don't know if I'd ever want to go there. It's high crime. It's blah 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 blah." And Brian was like, "No, it's not like that at all."
Right.
Like, he really changed my mind.
He changed my
about
mind.
That. Yeah,
or
about
he, I would say, brought awareness. Like,
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
definitely go down there.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Mhm.
Like you and I need to take a trip down there.
That would
for
be
sure.
a lot of fun, a quick weekend trip.
Yeah. And then we had Kellen on,
Callan Jones.
and Kellen was great.
Mhm.
That
Callan,
was also,
I think Callan, if I had to look back at this season, was probably, we had a lot of laughs.
yes, with
Yes.
Kellen for sure.
Yes.
for sure. And that was also the episode that I kind of went on a tirade about Rick.
Oh,
So-
you did a tirade around Rick? No, I don't believe
in
it.
the hot topic section. So by the time this episode airs,
Yes.
everyone will have seen Callan's episode
Yes.
and will have seen
Yes.
the Hot Topics, that episode is like crazy insane.
Yeah,
Like,
it was off the chain. It really was
I
off
don't know
the chain.
who spiked my drink, but I was like,
Think it was Alani Nu?
might have been. But I was on a roll for sure.
You were, and I was all here for it. It was so much fun. Yeah, it was so much fun for sure.
In fact, watch for some reels like soon.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then we also had Vin Suasion on.
Vin Suasion.
Now I liked Vin because he had an amazing energy.
That's what
Yeah,
I was just
very
going to say.
warm.
I was like, the energy that comes off of him
and the passion for what
is
he's working on.
incredible. Like I have
Mm-hmm.
never met anyone in my entire life that gave off such positive energy and light.
Wow.
That I instantly
I
felt,
agree. Yeah.
a connection
Right.
to him. So, I was very happy with his episode as well.
So let me ask you a question here. When we think about the future,
Yes.
season 3,
Yes.
what do you see? What do you see the future of the show? Is there maybe a guest in the community that you'd love to have on that we haven't had on yet? Or is there maybe if you could pick from anybody, is there maybe a guest that you would love to come on, anywhere in the world?
There are so many people that I would love to have on the show and talk to, because there's a lot of gay icons, and I'm not talking just Tampa Bay area. Now that we're interviewing Jim Verraros, the possibilities now are endless. I mean, seriously, he's a huge guest for us. So I would, gosh, it's so hard because I admire so many people. Definitely, Todrick Hall is on my wish list.
You know who comes up for me right away?
Who?
RuPaul.
RuPaul would be great.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the chuckling we would have and the giggling and the laughing?
Yeah.
I would love
The
that.
other person that isn't as well known but is freaking hilarious is Matt Matthews. He does a lot of reels where he's feeding the chickens and so on and so forth. He's a comedian.
Yeah, I was going to say he's a comedian.
Yeah, he's a comedian. Yep. He's been to Tampa before. I did a meet and greet with him when he was in Tampa. He's the most friendliest person ever. I would love to have him on the show because that would be a laugh riot.
Oh yeah,
in
absolutely.
Itself. We would be cracking up the entire time. He's just so fantastic.
Well, season 3, we do have a great comedian coming up, Jeff Klein.
We do.
And his episode is hysterical.
Yeah, it's
so
hilarious.
Stay tuned for that. Yeah, stay tuned for Jeff in season 3. He'll be coming up really soon.
Yeah, Jeff is coming up. So, and we've got some other guests that are coming up, like the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence.
Yeah, that was
a fun episode too.
That was really fun. Yeah,
it was a lot of fun. I mean, we've had some great guests on the show, and the thing is now people are reaching out to us wanting to be guests on the show.
Right.
Which, also tells me that we're doing a good job, with the show, because people are actually reaching out and wanting to be on. So
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of wrapping up Hot Topic is, we do want to thank our audience for watching. Sharing with your family and friends is really important. And we really are grateful and have a bunch of gratitude for everyone tuning in. We love the Tampa Bay community and really beyond, really national at this point. And really excited to kick off season 3 next week.
Absolutely. I'm excited.
Well, I'm even more excited because I think we'll take a quick break here and everyone stay tuned because we will have Jim Verraros from American Idol talking about his new EP, Explicit. Next, stay tuned.
Fam League is Tampa Bay's ultimate adult social sports league, bringing together kickball, dodgeball, pickleball, bowling, and more in a fun, social, and all-inclusive environment. Whether you're here to compete, connect, or just have a blast, there's a place for you in this community. We're proudly LGBTQIA+ inclusive and welcome players of all skill levels, from themed tournaments and sponsored bar nights to bar Olympics and watch parties for your favorite sporting events. Family is more than just sports and events. It's a family. And they accept old people like David and muffin tops like me.
Welcome back. We're excited to have Jim Verraros on with us on our season finale. Welcome, Jim.
Hey, Jim.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on your finale. I'm flattered. Congrats.
So excited. So excited. I was a die-hard American Idol fan and watched it for several seasons. In fact, little known fact, I used to write hilarious recaps of each show and send them out to people via email. So I definitely was a huge fan. And when David said that you had reached out to be on the show, I was like, oh, I know him. I remember him. So I was like very, very extremely excited. So
well, it was a long time. So
it was a long time. It was
Yeah.
a long time ago.
Yeah.
So with that, did you have any idea, like, can you talk about what made you decide to try out for the show? Because it was brand new. It had never aired before. It was, it was the first season. What made you decide to try out for it? And what was the experience like?
Yeah, it's a great question. And as you said, back then, there was really nothing to really compare it to. It had tremendous success in the UK. And so Fox had acquired, the rights to do the show in the US. And I heard about the audition through a friend, and she said, hey, there's this show. I guess you could win a record deal. Paula Abdul is a judge. And I was like, sold. I was like, okay, I'm just going to go to
Right.
Paula, basically. And you went to this hotel, and it was in downtown Chicago. And I was going to Columbia College at the time, so it was like in between classes. And I walked into the hotel, and there was nobody there, like not a single person. There was a woman walking around with a head mic and microphone, and she was like, oh, just take a seat. We're just waiting for more people to show up. And I said, okay. Finally, they got 5 of us and put us in a very small, tiny banquet room. There was a line of duct tape on the floor and like a porn old school camcorder on a tripod at the front of the room. And we were told to say our name, where we were from, and to sing a couple of bars of something, right? And then they would walk you out, and then they brought me back in to sing again because I did something that was very jazz, and I think they wanted something very pop. So I did that, and they said, great. And then they asked us, what was something about you that no one would know just by looking at you? And I said, well, my parents are deaf. I'm a coda, right? A child of deaf adults. I'm not sure if you've seen that movie, but you should if you haven't. And I didn't really think that much of it. That was my life. That was very normal to me. So I just could see her eyes get really, really big and like really, really excited. And it was like they had their story. They had the person, they had the sort of silhouette filled of, the contestant that had a really great sympathetic story that would resonate with America, right? And so I learned very quickly on when they flew us to, Hollywood, which is Pasadena. So very disappointed. Thinking I was gonna like run into like Demi Moore, like in between auditions or something. That was not the case. And then you're in this room, this huge hall of 125 singers, all over the country who are insanely amazing. Like I was like, I need to go home. Like I'm not anywhere near. I never wanted to be a pop star. I'm more off Broadway. Like I wanted to move to New York. I wanted to do theater, all of that. It was just sort of surreal. But I think also too, the more that I realized the cameras were on me, I sort of felt like I needed to sort of shift who I was a little bit and, brought down the octave of my voice. I'm very expressive, right? Being raised by 2 deaf parents, you have to be, because there's no point in yelling, because why? So you would be a lot more expressive, right? And so I was very animated, very outgoing. But I realized that America may not want that. They may reject that. And I just paid attention to those things. It was almost like I was sort of learning to hold my breath a lot because I was so afraid of, I think, being found out. And that was a really bad habit that started to develop as I got older. In fact, I do it sometimes now. I felt a need to sort of be a little bit more macho, a little bit more, less feminine than I normally was. And that's not a great thing, and this was 2002. So going back 23 years ago, the climate was different. Rosie O'Donnell and I came out the same year. Ellen DeGeneres had only been out a couple of years. So musically, we had Katie Lang and Rufus Wainwright, I think, at that time, just to put things into perspective. I learned to put away pieces of myself during that show because I was just scared to lose any potential opportunity to do well.
So was that a decision that you consciously made, or was that a decision that the producers kind of tapped on and said, hey, this is a new show. We're not sure how the audience is going to react to a gay contestant. Like, was it a combination of the two?
Well, they never would say outwardly to me, don't act gay. But before the show, I had kept a live journal, which I'm not sure if you two remember this, but it was basically an online diary, right? That you could just put up entries in. And so I was doing this when I was in college, and I was talking about going on a date with a guy, and, it was very just, conversational. And Fox had instructed me to delete it, to remove this live journal. They didn't say why. They just said, we want everyone on an equal playing field. And I thought, okay, I mean, this is a network telling me what to do. I'm going to do it, right? But somebody had copy and pasted every single one of my entries and then put it on a separate website.
Oh, wow.
So once popularity gained with the show, you could find all of my entries. And so it was very evident that I was gay, that I was interested in men. I was talking about men very openly. I just wasn't prepared to nationally deliver that news just yet because my mother and sister knew, and I wanted them to keep it secret from my father. I wasn't prepared to tell my dad he was Greek, born in Greece, immigrated to the US when he was 3. And, and while we had an okay relationship, I know that culture and I know how he would have reacted. So with that being said, it was a combination of them sort of early on saying, maybe put this, away, but never really was specific about why.
Yeah.
And so as I started to get further and further in the competition, I just noticed them kind of focusing on me a lot. They would be like, Ryan Seacrest would say, Jim and his team, Jim and his group, let's go to Jim. And so the more that they kept saying that to me, the more I felt like, okay, raise, bring the voice down, be a little more here, here rather than here, right? And just bring down those effeminate attributes that I had just to sort of kind of sail through, right? Because if America was going to vote, I didn't want it to screw up. And so I think I consciously did that myself.
Yeah, and I think it even went past your season. Like when you think of Clay Aiken and you think of Adam Lambert, they weren't openly out when
David
they
Hernandez,
were on American.
Right? I mean,
Yeah. I got to ask you a couple of fun questions. So the first fun question is, which judge do you feel was the toughest on you?
I mean, Simon wasn't great. He was fine in the beginning. He liked me in the beginning. And then, he was like, if you win this competition, we will have failed. And I was wow.
Oh my goodness.
That's
dramatic,
Yeah.
But also what America, I think, forgets is that, when you're given these very, very limited lists of songs to sing, it's because they don't have the money to clear a song that is more recent, right? It costs more to get the rights to do that on national television. So on the first season, we were the guinea pigs. We didn't have money. So they gave us like 10 songs. And it was, when I made the top 10, it was Motown, I think, was the theme. And I had never heard most of this stuff before. And, Kelly and I think, were fighting over, Get Ready by the Temptations.
Yeah.
And she ended up getting it. And then I, got something else. And then she ended up changing her mind anyway. And I was like, bitch, I could have had that song. But I was like, fine, I get it. I love you. Like, you can do whatever you want. So I ended up with Easy by the Commodores, which I had heard never in my life. I didn't grow up with music in my house. My parents, being deaf, weren't just, playing songs. And, most children are sort of influenced by that growing up. Mine were very organic. It was through television or, the radio. And so those inspirations just kind of happened very naturally for me. And so I wasn't familiar with it. And I had literally a day to rehearse this with a vocal coach. We didn't have big bands like they do now. We didn't have, these very, very, in-depth vocal coaches like they have now. It's like it was very different, So it was a song I wasn't familiar with. I didn't do a great job with it. It wasn't my best moment. I went and I was ninth, obviously, but so much more was to come from that, and that was the tour, being able to come back for the finale to see Kelly win, and then moving out to LA and try to pursue a record deal, and do that openly gay, and do that at number 9, and not having all of that exposure that Kelly, Justin, Nikki, Tamira did, right? I mean, they were getting like Old Navy commercials, but with me, I was just like, they like didn't even know who I was, so I knew that after that ended, I had a very short amount of time to pursue a career.
I disagree. I thought you did a really good job on Easy. I remember that performance.
That's very generous.
So, how did it feel? Because, after the season had ended, they released a compilation CD with the top 10 performers. So how did it feel when you first saw your face on a CD? Like, what was that feeling like?
Yeah, that was very surreal. I think we sold like 800,000 copies.
Yeah,
too.
it was a lot.
It was crazy. And like, I was kind of bummed that I couldn't have done something else because of course I was doing Easy, and it wasn't like my first choice. But at the same time, I also like brought that song to like a very different generation. And I think people were like, oh, this song's cute, So I guess there was some appeal to it. But that really was sort of an out-of-body experience. I remember when I made the top 10, they take you, like as soon as you get notified, like Ryan was like, hey, Jim, you're our third member of the top 10 or whatever. We stop filming and they bring you into this room and you're talking to, Variety and Entertainment Weekly and Access Hollywood. And it's like, you don't have a lot of media training up to that point. But because I think for me, growing up with deaf parents and being around adults very, very young and being their interpreter, in situations like, doctor's appointments and real estate or, accounting or my parents', work or whatever that is, I was very familiar with how to communicate, how to engage, how to be responsive, how to be interactive. And so they put me and Ryan Starr and Tamira on the cover of TV Guide. And I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. And I wore a choker because I thought that was cute. And that was going into like a Ralph's supermarket in LA and seeing yourself like on the cover. And I will never forget the person who was checking me out. She like looks at the TV Guide and she looks at me and she's like, is that you? And I was like, she's like, good for you, honey. And that it's because clearly like she doesn't give a shit. So yeah, that was a very crazy out of body experience.
And it ended up catapulting you into so many different, like, even though you were 9th on the show, it still was a catapult to your career, in the future.
I hustled for it, for sure. But 2 very, very amazing emails came my way that kind of changed the trajectory. One was from a producer named Gabe Lopez, who liked me on the show and said, I want to produce an album. And I had really taken a beating on that show. So my first thought wasn't music. I wanted to get an agent, a manager, get into acting classes, and start auditioning. And that was what I wanted to do. And then another email came my way from the writer of Eating Out. And it sort of both kind of happened like right around the same time. So I thought, oh, okay, let's try and do both. So I am in the studio writing, recording, trying to put together a record, and I end up saying yes to Eating Out once I read the script. We fly to Tucson, Arizona. We shoot it in triple degree heat in 10 days.
Wow.
Very low budget. It was like $50,000 budget. And it was the best. I loved it. It was so much fun. And even though you didn't have a lot of resources, it was just the experience, the team. I just had a blast doing it. This is where I kind of saw myself, anyway. And then the music kind of came along and I was able to get some songs on the soundtrack of Eating Out. And so it felt very, cross-promotional. It was just really good timing. And then I was able to go to Kosh Records and say, here's a final album done. All you have to do is distribute it, basically. And they agreed. And it was kind of another out-of-body experience to walk into a Best Buy. For those kids out there, we used to go into stores and buy CDs.
Right.
CDs. And that was an amazing thing, you know, and I did this while being openly gay. And that was the other thing that I was really, really proud of. And I don't think at 19, when I came out publicly, you really understand the gravity of what that decision is going to mean. But that decision for me had a ripple effect,
Mhm.
and it like went through a lot of people. And I was just talking about this with someone else, that my debut album turned 20 years old this year. And I was talking about it in social media, and there were all these people that were just like, you have no idea what that album did for me. To see myself represented in a time when there was no one that was openly gay and singing and out there and performing. And I look back with such gratitude that that did such good, you know,
Mhm.
and because you don't think about that, you know, when you're just trying to hustle and make something happen and make money and pay your bills, you know. So I'm very, very grateful that those two projects ended up being something bigger, you know, than me.
So now we are here, and your EP was just dropped today, August 8th. So very
Yeah.
exciting. What brings you back to releasing new music now?
Boredom, you know.
Nothing to do.
Um, yeah, I'm just like, I'm like, just need something to do, like a hobby, you know. I was very inspired by a couple of things. One is, I mean, aside from the shit show that is this administration,
Mhm.
putting that aside for a second, I think the visibility of where we're at with queer people in music, in film, and in television, you know, I didn't have that 20 years ago. And so now I look at these, you know, openly queer artists and their success, right? Troye Sivan and Chappell Roan and Lil Nas X and Sam Smith and, you know, and even some really successful idols like Adam Lambert and, you know, Todrick Hall, who people forget, you know, Todrick actually was on Idol, you know, and has done massive things since. The door is so much more open now than it was. And it made me think, well, if it's a different climate and if it's a different landscape, what does that mean for me now? And is there room for me too? And
Mhm.
so I was very curious. And I think when you're an artist, or if you are a lover of sport, you know, sculpture, the stage, whatever it is, right? We have these loves very early on in our life. And I sort of compare it to like a pilot light, right? It's this constantly burning pilot light inside of you. And you either touch it or you just kind of let it burn. And I think for me, two
Mhm.
years ago, I just decided to touch it because I think deep down inside, you can't really disconnect from those things. They're always
Right.
going to be a part of you. But life gets busy, right? We have mortgages or children and marriages and, you know, jobs that are incredibly demanding. But those things when we were younger, whether, you know, it was a sport or the theater, the arts, we gravitated towards those things for a reason.
Mhm.
And we end up sort of letting those things go as we get older. And I think music for me, my first production was The Music Man when I was just 7, you know, and I loved being on stage, you know, and I think because I was bullied and I was gay bashed for so many years,
Mm.
the stage was an escape so that I could be anybody else but myself because of what I had to endure, you know, in junior high and high school. So the arts or creativity or sports or athleticism, whatever it is, you know, it's important that we have those joys, especially now. My God, especially now.
Mhm.
So that was the other part of it, you know, was where do we find the calmness in the storm right now? Because it's so easy to go down that rabbit hole on our phones and social media, and
Mhm.
you know, it's like a bomb is dropping every 5 seconds and you don't know what to care about or where to look because that is their strategy,
Right.
right? And so it's really important for all of us together to define what that joy is and just find it and keep it close. So yeah, those were the couple of, you know, just the reasons why I sort of found my way back to creating music.
Well, I listened to it today. I absolutely loved it. So if folks have
Yay.
not listened yet, please, please, please listen.
Please.
And I was going to ask you a little bit about your creative process. So do
Yeah.
you, I mean, all musicians, all songwriters have different processes. What does your process look like?
You know, it was different this time around. When I put out Roller Coaster, I probably wrote a good 75% of it. And I think that was probably a part of me wanting to prove something, to be like, I'm not just a singer, like I can write too. And, I wanted to,
Right.
because after Idol, you're only what people perceive you to be because
Mhm.
they only know you in that sector, right? And so when you have this great fan base, and Idol is all about creating that for you, they know you as someone who can sing many different genres of music because every week would be a different genre, right? And
Mhm.
so when I put together Roller Coaster, it was I found a producer, and that producer and we co-wrote everything. He produced everything. So it was very cohesive, and the sound was sort of the same, but the music was different. It was like jazz, it was pop, it was rock, it was Avril Lavigne on one track, and then it was Britney on another, right? And so I just
Mhm.
was like, well, I don't care. I'm going to do it all for this record because that's who I am, right? I like different things at different times, right? I mean, I
Mhm.
love Adele, but can I listen to her all day, every day? No, I would kill myself, right? So like, I we need different things for different moments, right?
Right.
So with Explicit, it started as a single, and we started to market it in the UK, and it did very well. It hit top 5 on their pop commercial chart, and I remember achieving that and seeing like Kylie Minogue and Calvin Harris and like Crystal Waters, and then there was me at 5, and that really was the catalyst to kind of see where this goes. Music is very expensive to do on your own when you don't have a label. It's if you, as an independent artist, it's tough. So every dollar counts, and I wanted to make sure I was investing it in the right way. And then the second single in 2024 was Pyramid, and that did top 6 in the UK. And I was like, okay, maybe I should just move to the UK for God's sakes.
Right.
And then that was when I really started to think about what does a full EP sound like? Like, what would it be like? Because I already loved my first 2, and I thought, let's finish it out. Let's do like a 6-song album. Let's throw some remixes on there so it feels a little bit fuller, just because 6 tracks feels really short. And I loved these remixes because I think they breathed like a different vibe into the song. And for those that love to dance, and like for the DJs and the clubs, like it's a great way to kind of reinvigorate, I think, the EP. And I teamed up with this incredible queer songwriter named Jace Green. Jace is in Oklahoma City, and Jace is 23,
Oh, okay.
so
Oh,
almost
wow.
20 years younger than me.
Mhm.
And so I thought it was really important to get perspective because Jace was so young, but yet so intelligent about music, and almost thought about music in a mathematics way, because everything, like the syncopation and the harmonies and the rhythms and the hooks that you have to have, and that's how they thought of constructing each song. Wise beyond their years, beyond, but Jace always knew what I wanted. Jace knew my vibe, the sound, the direction. If I didn't like something, I would say, this isn't right, and then Jace would nail it the second time. So when you find a team like that who not only believe in you but are willing to do things at in an inexpensive, cost,
Right.
it just started to take shape. And then it may have shifted a little bit, and then it changed again, and then we tried different things, and it just Explicit was born. And Explicit, the name of it, is really more about not so much the content necessarily, but it's just about, I'm 42 years old. I'm been through 2 marriages. I'm not from a Disney Channel. I've got nothing to hide. The jig is up, right? So I'm a grown ass man who's been through some shit, and I think I was just unafraid. I was uninhibited to talk about sex or to talk about a threesome,
Mhm.
or it just felt very honest, and authentic, and it's sexy, and it just feels like very me, and it just sort of birthed itself, and I was like, wow, I really like this. Like, it feels very authentic, it feels very genuine, it feels very now. So that's how Explicit kind of came to be.
And it's already got some initial buzz
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
already.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely see myself dancing at the club with these songs. They are fun. So we will be
Thank
telling
you.
all the Tampa DJs to play them.
Yes, please. Please do. Tampa, I love you. Play me.
So what do you do in your downtime? I know you work, you have a normal corporate job, and then you do, the music on the, you know, in your spare time. But what do you do on your downtime?
Oh, let's see. My husband and I live in Chicago. We are downtown, so we're very close to. I don't know if you know Chicago, but we're right by United Center, which is like the big venue where most of the major artists come and play. So it's a great area. We're very low key. We love going to the occasional bar or club if that's the vibe. But we host a lot in our house. We have an 1892 row house that we've done a lot of work in, and it's a very sexy. We're not afraid of dark in terms of color, so a lot of the rooms are very dark, and that's like basically almost black behind me. But we love hosting. We love entertaining, whether it's like cocktails or dinner. So,
Do you have a dungeon?
yeah. Well, it is our basement, which is unfinished in an 1892 row house, so it's pretty much the same thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That sounds very
That's
cool.
hilarious.
Very,
So
very
I'm
cool.
originally from Illinois.
Oh,
I'm from a little bit south of Springfield, Illinois,
okay.
and
Is that
was
close to Peoria-ish?
it's south of Peoria.
Okay.
But I lived in Illinois for 30 years before I decided to pack up everything and move to Atlanta. And
Wow.
I have never been to Chicago, believe it or not.
What?
Yeah.
Why? Oh my God.
Wow.
I've never been to Chicago. I lived in Illinois and I've never been to
That's
Chicago.
shocking.
Yeah.
I am shocked. I am
Yeah.
without words.
Okay, Jim, we're coming to visit you at some point.
Yeah.
Yes.
We
Oh my
need to
gosh.
get
Well, I'll
we
go
need to
clubbing.
get Paul to Chicago.
Road trip. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness,
I'll
that's
take you boys
crazy.
out. We'll be out till 6 a.m. We'll have a blast. Yeah.
Woo.
I love it.
So if you had the ability to duet with
Mm.
anybody,
Ugh.
either here or have since passed, like who would be your
Oh,
dream duet partners?
that is. This is an impossible question. Like it's impossible. Okay. I'll start with. Can I give like a few?
I was
Is
gonna
that
say
is
top
that okay?
3.
Okay.
Right.
Yes, we'll do top three.
hmm
Top three in terms of people who are no longer with us. I'll start there. George Michael is number one. Prince number two.
Good choice.
Maybe just those two. I think for right now.
hmm
Um, Living, Kelly Clarkson. Duh, she's amazing. I mean, she would never, but I live for that girl. She's, before the show, I was, I grew up on Debbie Gibson and Tiffany, and then it was Paula.
Mm-hmm.
And then the minute I met her, I fangirled for her forever. Like I'd go to her concerts and I'd see her, and she embodies, I think, the best vocalist of our generation.
Did you
She
think she
is
was going to win when you were on the show?
100%.
hmm
I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, without question. I
hmm
was like, I don't even know why we're doing this. I was like, this is
Oh
it.
my
This girl
gosh, you
is
were
it.
that confident. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like the
hmm
minute, and I knew when we were competing against each other, like when we were in like the top, when they whittle you down from, I think it was before, maybe like there were 90 of us or 80 of us, and then it got down to the 30.
hmm
Kelly and I were in the same room of like 15 or 20. I think it was 15 people. And then they cut one group of 15, and then you've got two groups of 15 that make the top 30. Kelly and I were in the same room.
Oh
And I was
wow.
just like, well, if she's still here, I know I'm good because she's not going home because she's too damn good. And then as things got, as she progressed, I was like, guys, like, I don't know. There was just something about her for me. And she's as wonderful and hilarious as you'd want her to be. So I also know that when she covers songs or she sings your songs, she owns them and they belong to her, and I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah.
So if she wanted to cover my music, she is absolutely welcome to. Second person I think would be Adore Delano, actually. Do you know Adore Delano?
No.
So Adore Delano was on RuPaul's Drag Race. Adore Delano used to go by Danny Noriega on American Idol. So Adore transitioned
Okay.
just recently.
Think I
But
remember. Yeah, I think I
yeah,
remember. What season? Do you know?
oof. God, I don't remember which season it was, but I mean, she's amazing. But she's also a great singer and continues to sing. She's amazing. Chappell Roan would be a dream. But also, I do love the pop girlies. I love Carly Rae Jepsen. She would be so fun to do something with. And if she ever decided to come back to music, I know this is going to probably sound weird, But if Hilary Duff ever came back, I would do a song with her in a heartbeat, like in a heartbeat.
Love that. Love that. That's
Yeah, I
great.
think they've been talking to her about going back
Yeah.
to music, like wanting her to go back.
Hmm.
Do you think we're gonna think positive here and say that Explicit is going to be like a huge success here in the United States? Would you go on a tour?
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the beauty of where I'm at right now in life and with this record is that people really don't know what to expect because it's been so long. And I think it's also a great opportunity to sort of reintroduce myself to people that don't know me or have never heard of me. So it's kind of great to sort of establish something brand new, right? And like make your own rules and do things the way that you want to do. And I think when we're creating later in life, it just feels a little bit easier. It feels a little more effortless. Whereas when I first, was coming up with Roller Coaster, there was so much in my head. It was, how do I make sure I have the most fans possible? And, do I have enough songs for everybody? And, does this hit hard? How many hits do I have on the record? And what's gonna, what could radio play? And there were so many things I kept kind of obsessing over because I just wanted it to do well. I wanted it to do well. Now it's sort of like, well, I have a full-time job. So, I can only do so much here. I'm not independently wealthy. I don't come from generational wealth. So, everything that I'm creating has to come from, money and comes from something. Right. So, but I would love to do a tour. I was thinking about doing sort of based off of, what happens with, with the EP is my first instinct is to do sort of like a pop-up tour and just play like 5 cities and just do, maybe something in Miami or New York, LA,
Tampa.
obviously Chicago, Tampa.
Come to Tampa.
Yes, Tampa for sure. And just do really small, 2-3 song sets, like something really simple and maybe, do a surprise performance and, talk to some club owners and see, but it's got to be really organic and it's got to be really grassroots for me because it's sort of a rebirth, right? In a lot of ways. So that would be, yes, like that is already, the wheels are spinning. So
That's really
awesome.
exciting.
Yeah,
That's very
for
exciting.
Sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So I'm going to ask a couple of like funny type questions. So,
okay.
What are you binge watching right now?
Ooh,
Are you binge watching anything?
I mean, we binge everything. That's our problem. Is like I can't stop it. But the most recent one that I really got into, not because, well, the previews didn't look great, but when I was reading about what people were saying about it in my social media news feeds, I was like, okay, which is The Hunting Wives on Netflix.
I have
I've
heard
about
amazing
that.
things about
Yes.
this. Every single person I know is telling me to watch that.
Yeah, I have not
It's
watched
very
it.
good, very bingeable. I really liked it a lot. This is probably going back a little ways, but Dead to Me. Have you seen that?
Oh, I
I
love
haven't
that.
seen
I
that
absolutely
either.
love that. Mhm.
Amazing. I mean, Christina Applegate is everything.
Yeah.
And she's just so good in that show. We're not big on reality, funny
Mhm.
enough, but we try to sort of branch out a bit. I mean, Hacks on HBO Max is amazing.
Oh, absolutely amazing.
Jean Smart's everything. We love her. And it's just such a queer friendly, show, which, I love. The Bear, we really got into on FX.
Mhm. It's a great show.
We love, White Lotus.
Have you seen
all of
season
this.
3? I have not.
I
Yeah.
have not seen season 3 yet.
Okay.
It's very good.
Okay.
I have an affinity for Jennifer Coolidge, and so I don't know that anything will
Oh,
compare
Yeah.
Love her. Love
Yeah.
her so much.
season, but
I was very upset they
likewise.
killed her off on the yacht.
I know.
I was
I
like,
thought maybe
Spoiler
they would like,
alert, in case someone hasn't
Well,
seen
that's season 2, so they're way
Right.
behind.
I thought maybe they would like bring her twin sister back for season 3 and like, you know what I mean?
Oh,
And just
yeah.
expand upon that. But at least Jennifer got her flowers and she got, the Emmy and the Golden Globe. So I was like, and what an incredible, to shine in your 60s, to have that moment in your 60s is just, proof positive, I think, for me that success doesn't have an expiration date.
Mhm.
Right.
Like anything can happen and anybody is one project away from your entire life changing and you having everything that you want. So, LL Cool J always said, dreams don't have deadlines. And I love that. And I really believe that.
Yeah, that's really good. So since you've put your foot into acting a little bit, if you could be a guest star on any television show, which television show would you want to be a guest star on?
I'm blanking on the name of it, but it's so good. It's on Amazon Prime.
Mm-hmm.
It is with, he's getting so much buzz over it too. Good looking, dark hair, came from sort of social media and then sort of exploded. Why am I blanking on this show?
What's it about?
It'll come to me. He's sort of a jock and then is closeted and then goes away to college, and it's sort of like his coming out journey. Benito Skinner.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Do you know Benito Skinner? Oh, it's killing
Well,
me.
we're going to
Go
flash
see it.
the name of the show. We'll flash it up
Yeah, we'll
Yes.
for everybody.
definitely flash it.
And if they wanted to do like an eating out like 69, like the 69th installment, I mean, I would do it.
Well, that was going to be my other question. Like, would you do another movie?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. Totally. 100%. Like I'm just this is kind of nice. It's just like, I'm very open to, to anything. It's like you're so much, when you're doing this in your early 20s compared to where you're at now, it's like, I've lived so much more of a different life. Like I'm not the same person. I'm not the same. I can pull from more life experience than I did in my early 20s. And yeah, oh my gosh, I would like if we had like a queer, like murder thriller, kind of movie, like that would be fun to do.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, ooh, it would be great to have like a gay horror movie.
Yeah,
I'm a
That'd be
big horror
fun.
movie
That would be
fanatic,
fun.
so I would love that, to have a all gay
Same.
character, horror movie.
Yes.
Someone
Let's make
needs to
that
write
happen.
that. So, any other questions you have, David?
No, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you, Jim. Let everyone know where they can find you on socials and your new E EP.
Yeah, well, my brand new website is jimverrarosmusic.com, and you can follow me on Instagram at Jim Verraros. And my music, my brand new EP, Explicit, is out on every platform, everywhere. So whether that's iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, it is out. It's out today, and I hope you love it.
Well, thank you. I mean, from the bottom of my heart, Jim, thank you so much for reaching out to us and being on the show. I tried not to fangirl too much, but I am a big fan of yours, and is so delighted that you were able to come on and be our season finale guest. So thank you so
for
much.
having me. It means
Yeah,
the world.
thank you.
I mean,
Thank you
it's-
so much. And for all of our viewers out there, just tune in to all of our socials on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. We appreciate you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Thank you, Jim.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you both.